Mischievous Kitties, a strange disappearance. What is owner doing? Mr. Fluffles asked Peaches. What? Peaches asked sleepily. She lifted her head and blinked. She saw Mr. Fluffles' worried blue eyes in her face. What's wrong? She asked. I think something might be wrong with owner. Why? What's wrong? She yawned. I don't know, but owner has been walking around the house all day. We haven't had any cuddle time at all today. Wait, Peaches scowled. The weekend doesn't start for a couple more days. Why is owner home? Mr. Fluffles shrugged. I don't know, but I wanted extra cuddles and owner won't sit down. Peaches stood up with a long stretch. Okay, let's go see what's going on. She went to pick him up, but Mr. Fluffles ran out of the living room and waited for her at the bottom of the stairs. As the pair reached the top of the stairs, Peaches realized that there was something going on. Owner was walking back and forth from the bedroom to the computer room. See? Mr. Fluffles asked. Something is going on. She scented the air. I don't smell fear from owner, but there is a scent of excitement. So owner is looking forward to whatever it is. After a few moments, owner closed the door and bustled around the bedroom. Peaches and Mr. Fluffles moved into a corner of the bedroom and sat down. So what is owner doing? Mr. Fluffles repeated his first question to her. I don't know, Peaches replied as the pair watched owner. When is owner going to sit down or something? He whined. I don't know, Peaches replied. She noticed something and stood up. Kitten, stay here while I investigate something. Why can't I go with you? He complained. Because if I'm not allowed to investigate, I don't want you to get hurt if there's a small scuffle. She stepped towards the bed. I can be careful. He started to follow. She turned and hissed at him. No! He sat back down. Stay here, she said sternly. After a few moments, she turned and continued to walk towards the bed. Mr. Fluffle laid down, placing his head on his front paws and pouting. I'm not allowed to do anything without getting in trouble. Now I know how Pepper feels. Peaches used the small stairs to carefully step up to the bed. She ducked down and waited for the moment when owner went to the bathroom. She then stepped carefully onto the bed and sniffed the items that were taking up a good bit of space. She realized that some of owner's clothes and other items were sitting in a weird open box. Peaches felt the hair on her back rise up a little bit. Confused by this response, she placed one paw on the box to get a better smell of what was going on. The noise of a cabinet closing startled her, and she rushed off the bed just as owner walked out of the bathroom. Peaches peeked her head around to check if she had been seen by owner. Satisfied that she had not been caught, she walked back over to Mr. Fluffles. Did you figure out what was going on? The tuxedo kitten asked. No, she replied. Something does seem familiar about this, but I don't know why or what exactly owner is doing. She still felt a twitch in the hair on her back. After some time passed, owner zipped up the weird box, placed it on the floor, and walked out, the box rolling behind. Peaches and Mr. Fluffles followed downstairs, but by the time they rounded the bottom of the stairs, owner was walking out towards the garage with the weird box. Peaches placed Mr. Fluffles on the floor, and the tuxedo kitten walked further into the living room. But Peaches sat down at the bottom of the stairs and groomed her face. The hair on her back was still twitching. As the owner walked back into the house and started to place extra food bowls on the floor, the twitching stopped, and instead she felt a sick feeling in her stomach. Mr. Fluffles ran into the kitchen at the sound of the food being poured, and Peaches followed him to investigate. She felt like she was starting to remember, but she couldn't ignore the feeling of dread. The pair found that 2 extra food bowls had been placed, and all 3 were filled to almost overflowing with food. 2 extra water bowls had also been placed by the current water bowl. Owner gave them both some back rubs and light scratches behind the ear. Owner then walked out of the kitchen, calling the names of the other kitties. "Wow, look at all this food!" Mr. Fluffles said excitedly. "Yeah, why would Owner put all this food down at once? It is a little weird. Normally Owner feeds us in the morning and night. There's enough here for at least until tomorrow." Peaches felt the sick feeling in her stomach get worse. Her ear twitched as Owner said something to the other kitties, and then walked out the door. "Wait," she whispered, and then ran out to the living room. The other 4 kitties were gathered around the door. She approached them and heard a motor start in the garage. "Wait!" She leaped forward and pawed desperately at the door. The sounds changed, and she ran through the living room to the window by the stairs. She jumped up just in time to see Owner in the vehicle back out and drive off. "Wait! Wait!" she yelled, placing her front paws on the window. But it was no use. With one turn, Owner was out of sight. "What is wrong with you?" Jewel hissed. "You're acting weirder than normal." Peaches glared at her. "Don't you think it's weird that Owner just left midday, 2 days before the weekend?" "The timing does seem a bit strange, but what of it? Our perceptions could be off," Jewel dismissed. By this time, all the kitties were gathered between the kitchen and the stairs, wondering what all the commotion was about. "Does anyone else find Owner's behavior today strange?" Peaches asked as she studied each face, but they all seemed confused. Pepper shrugged. "Sometimes Owner's behavior is strange. What's the big deal?" Peaches couldn't believe him. "What's the big deal?" "The big deal is Owner just packed a bag, gave us enough food and water to last a couple days." The others gave her blank stares. "Owner is going to be gone for a few days, maybe forever." Her voice broke on the last sentence, and she could feel tears welling up in her eyes. When she saw that they still didn't share her concern, she jumped off the window and ran upstairs to hide under Owner's bed. She heard the kitten call after her, but she wanted to be alone. "What's wrong with her?" Pepper asked. "The only one acting weird is her." "Peaches, wait!" Mr. Fluffles called as he tried to climb the stairs. "She's always been acting weird." Jewel huffed and licked a paw, ignoring the crying tuxedo kitten. "I don't think she's being weird. She obviously thinks something is wrong," Mocha interjected. "You know, she mentioned that Owner's actions indicated leaving on a long trip," Cream started. "Mocha, didn't you mention that she lost her first family when they left on a long trip?" "Yeah, you might be right," Mocha exclaimed. "She might think something bad is going to happen to Owner because of what happened to her other family." Jewel snorted. "Nothing is wrong with Owner," she stated flatly. "Owner will be home when Owner is home. No need to get knots in our fur." She stood up and walked towards the sunroom. "I agree," Pepper added as he followed her. Cream and Mocha looked at each other. "It may be true that nothing is wrong with Owner, but that doesn't change the fact that this may be bringing up some bad memories for Peaches," Mocha said. "Her family died in an accident during a trip. Owner going on a trip is sure to make her feel scared and alone," Cream agreed. "But she's not alone," Mr. Fluffles cried out, still struggling to climb the stairs. "He's right." Mocha stood proudly puffing at his chest. "She has us now. We are her family. She is not alone." "She is right now." Cream motioned to the top of the stairs. Mocha picked up Mr. Fluffles by the scruff, and the 3 of them slowly made their way up the stairs. Peaches could hear the voices of the other kitties, but not what they were saying. The voices trailed off. She curled up into a tight ball and gave a little shudder, though she didn't feel cold. Moments passed but she didn't know how long. "Are you okay?" Mr. Fluffle's voice asked gently in her ear. She looked up and met his big blue eyes. "Yes, kitten, I'm fine." "No, you're not," Cream's voice interjected. Peaches looked around and saw that Mr. Fluffles wasn't alone. Cream and Mocha were sitting around her too. All three looked worried. "I'm sorry," Peaches started. "I didn't mean to worry you guys. I just have this bad feeling." "Is it because the start of a long trip is how you lost your first family?" Mocha asked gently. Peaches blinked at him, a little stunned. I think so. That would make sense," Cream added. Mr. Fluffles nuzzled against Peaches. "It's okay. We have each other this time." "You have us, too." Mocha sat alongside her, and Cream sat on the other side. Mocha continued. "If something does happen to Owner, we'll be together to support each other. But let's plan on Owner being home after this trip, safe and sound." Peaches purred lightly. She liked the sound of that. A life in fear of everything is not a full life. "You're right, Mocha. I will try to stay calm over the next few days. I know I can lean on my friends." The others purred as well, and Peaches let out a nervous sigh, but relaxed just a little bit, letting her friends comfort her. As the day went on and nighttime came around, Peaches was still nervous, as she tried her best to go on about the day, but true to their word, Mocha, Cream, and Mr. Fluffles continued to support her throughout the day and night. At least one of them was always with her. As the sun was rising, Mocha carried Mr. Fluffles downstairs, and they met Cream in the kitchen for breakfast. "I'm worried about Peaches," Cream said quietly as she rounded the corner to enter the kitchen. "Good morning to you too," Mocha yawned. "Good morning. I'm worried about Peaches." "What's wrong?" Mr. Fluffles asked. "She hasn't slept at all, not even a quick cat nap," Cream explained. "Isn't that normal because of the whole night owl thing?" Mocha asked. "Sure, that would be normal if she had slept during the day." "That's true," Mr. Fluffles added. "When Cream carried me up to Owner's bedroom last night, I let her know that Peaches had been restless all day and didn't nap at all yesterday." "She must be very worried about Owner, but not wanting to show it," Mocha commented. "Yes," Cream agreed, "but she needs to sleep. She can make herself sick if she doesn't sleep." "Or eat," said Mr. Fluffles. "She nibbles on a few bites of food, but she didn't join us for dinner last night, and she isn't here right now for breakfast either." "Right," Cream trailed off. She walked out to check on Peaches. She found Peaches still sitting on her favorite chair in the sunroom. Her head was sitting between her paws, eyes staring blankly at the floor, her fluffy tail drooping off the side of the chair, and even Cream noticed that Peaches' normally well-kept fluffy fur now seemed dull. "Peaches," Cream started, "do you want to come eat some breakfast?" Peaches let out a long sigh and swished her tail once, then looked up at Cream. "I'm really not hungry." "Will you eat a couple pieces? Just a snack?" "Yeah, that's probably a good idea." Peaches jumped down from the chair and walked slowly towards the kitchen, her tail dragging on the floor. Cream walked next to her. They turned into the kitchen as Mocha and Mr. Fluffles were cleaning the food dust off their faces. Peaches and Cream sat down from the food bowl. Cream snacked a little while Peaches just stared at the bowl. Mr. Fluffles came up and stretched up to groom the long gold fur on her cheek. She finally took a bite, and Cream gently groomed one of her ears. After Peaches was done with her snack, she curled up with Mr. Fluffles on their favorite bed in the living room. Cream and Mocha went upstairs to nap on Owner's bed, but Peaches still couldn't sleep. Every time she closed her eyes, she could see the memories. She nuzzled against Mr. Fluffle's fur and just focused on his purrs and eventual deep breathing. But she couldn't sleep. As the sun started to turn its brilliant shades of orange and gold through the windows, exhaustion was heavy on Peaches' eyelids, and it seemed like sleep was just moments away. But her ears perked up when she heard the sound of a key in a door lock. The door opened, and Peaches was confused as she stared at the door to the garage, but it wasn't opening. She heard the sound of a door shut, and she realized it was the front door. Then Mr. Fluffles noticed, and even Pepper and Jewel peeked out of the sunroom. The sounds of heavy footsteps and jingling came into the living room, and the silhouette of a human Peaches thought was vaguely familiar knelt down and talked softly to the 4 visible kitties. Pepper stepped forward, and Mr. Fluffles started to move until he felt Peaches' paw pressed down on his back. The jingling continued, and a familiar, tall, gold kitty wearing an orange vest walked in next to the human. Peaches recognized the kitty at the same time Pepper mewed the name. Butterball! Pepper leaped forward. Mr. Fluffles also ran towards the golden kitty. Hey, guys! Butterball greeted in his boisterous voice. How is everything going? Pretty good. What are you doing here? Pepper asked. Your owner made arrangements with my driver to come over here and check on the house and you guys, Butterball replied. Owner wanted you to be here? Is Owner safe? Peaches walked closer and asked, concerned. Butterball shrugged. I guess so. She is worried that something bad is going to happen to Owner, Mocha quickly explained as he and Cream walked up behind the golden kitty. Why would something bad happen? Butterball asked, confused. Humans go on vacation all the time. Peaches lowered her head and shuffled her paws. I lost my first family to a bad car accident on the first vacation they took. Oh, beautiful, Butterball sympathized. Your owner is going to be gone for a few days, but everything is going to be okay. She looked up at him, fear glistening in her eyes. How do you know? There is always a chance it will happen again. Yes it could, Butterball said gently. My driver and I are on the roads for weeks at a time, driving all over the country. There is a risk of an accident every time a human gets behind the wheel, and I have seen the aftermath of some pretty bad accidents. They do happen. But worrying about it isn't going to change the chances one bit. I was out on the streets the last time I lost my family. Peaches choked. It was hard not to worry when I have more to lose with this family. He smiled warmly. Well, I can guarantee you won't lose your family, and you will definitely not be back out on the streets. How? She begged. Because I know my driver would take you in. You probably wouldn't drive on the roads with us, but you would keep my mama company when me and driver are gone. Your mama? The human female who is married to my driver. Oh. Peaches thought about it. So they did have a safe place to go if something happened. So, She started to ask, but then hesitated. Go ahead, ask me. So if something happened and your driver knew that our owner wouldn't come back, would he come looking for us? Yes, Butterball answered enthusiastically. We both would. And he would make a special trip home to get everything settled, including making sure you all are safe and taken care of. Mr. Fluffles rubbed against one of Peaches' legs. Feel a little better now? I think so. I don't know. It's okay, Butterball reassured her. A fear like that won't change overnight. But be rest assured that whenever owner leaves for more than just overnight, it's usually me and my driver who will be here to check on you guys and take care of you. Okay, Peaches replied, still a little unsure. Butterball approached slowly and used a paw to lift her chin, so his forest green eyes were staring into her goals. Owner will come home, he stated quietly with confidence. Peach's cheeks blushed a little as she gave a little nod. Butterball purred and hesitated a little before he dropped his paw, which made Peach's blush spread across her face. Now, Butterball resumed his normal cadence, who wants to hear me tell a story about an adventure over the road? All the other kitties responded with great exuberance. They all settled in, and shortly after Butterball had started his story, Cream nudged Mocha and pointed at Peaches and Mr. Fluffles. The Tuxedo Kitten was enraptured by the story, but Peaches was finally sleeping. She seemed to be snoring a little, too. Mocha and Cream smiled at each other, relieved that their friend was doing better. Driver and Butterball visited almost every day for the next week, but then, at the end of that week, Owner came home safely.